What's up, geeks and gamers? It's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are going to talk about this article from Screen Rant that I think is painful to even think about. And it's painful to think about because of how they're talking about doing it in episode 9, considering where we are, and the fact that it hasn't happened yet, which it should have happened. It should have happened in The Force Awakens. I, even though was a fan of The Force Awakens, I was very angry that this didn't happen in The Force Awakens, but I believed in the creative process, and that was my mistake. So it's a Star Wars 9 theory, how all 3 original trilogy actors can appear together. Star Wars Episode 9 has a chance to do something Disney's sequel trilogy has yet managed to do. Reunite Luke, Leia, and Han Solo. The 3 characters all have had parts to play across The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but neither JJ or Rian Johnson were able to bring all 3 characters together in one scene. It's not that they weren't able, it's that they didn't want to. Episode 9 is the end of the trilogy and the conclusion of the Skywalker saga. It's the last opportunity to reunite the original heroes and one that shouldn't be missed. We saw Leia and Han together in Episode 7, and then Luke and Leia in Episode 8. The closest we came to a true reunion was the latter, with the dice from the Millennium Falcon representing Han. Abrams is back in the director's chair and looking to give Star Wars a satisfying send-off. To do that, he needs to finish not just the trilogy he started, but the story that began over 40 years ago. The original trilogy is central to that. Han and Luke are both dead, and there is still a way to bring them all together, all 3 of them together, one last time on the big screen. Despite dying in The Last Jedi, Luke Skywalker will return in Episode 9. Mark Hamill is reprising his role with a couple of options on how it could happen. The most likely explanation is that he's a Force ghost, as we saw him become one with the Force in Episode 8. Both of his mentors had the ability to return as Force ghosts and have done so at crucial moments in Luke's life. So it would make sense if he knew how to return as well. There is also the possibility of a flashback since these were used with Luke in The Last Jedi. More surprisingly, Leia will also be in Episode 9. Her character was still alive at the end of The Last Jedi, but the actress Carrie Fisher sadly passed away in 2016. It initially appeared as though Leia wouldn't be in the film, but Abrams soon realized that he couldn't complete the story without her. Unused footage of Fisher from both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi will be repurposed for Episode 9. It's unclear exactly how how much footage there is, but it should be enough for Leia to have a decent role in the movie and still play a key part in the Resistance. I hate this idea. My God, I hate this idea. With both Luke and Leia in the movie and thus ending the Skywalker saga, another meeting of the Skywalker siblings is a must. Ultimately, this is their story coming to an end. They should be together for that. So it says Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher are both confirmed to be in Episode 9 cast, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. So they don't really give a reason why, but it makes me cringe to think about them, because I didn't like the spoilers. I didn't like pretty much anything in The Last Jedi, but I didn't like the scene with Luke and Leia on Crate. It didn't feel right. I mean, obviously the first time I saw it, I did, but once you get over the initial shock of a lot of the scenes in The Last Jedi, once you really start to think about it, it all falls apart. All of it. That scene with Luke and Leia on Crate, it just felt weird. It wasn't Luke. It was a projection of Luke. I don't like it. It didn't feel right. It could have been so much cooler when he entered the room if it was actually him. So now with them reunite, and I would have to imagine it would be a flashback. The only acceptable way that I could try to justify this is a flashback. But almost anything in this movie at this point is going to feel like damage control. You should have done this in The Force Awakens. As a defender of The Force Awakens, as a person that was a fan of that movie, I'm telling you, you made a huge mistake. You made a huge mistake. I felt that way even afterwards, even though I was a fan of the movie. And I know all of you, I can already hear you in the comments and already hear you screaming at me. How were you a fan of that movie? Because I was. And I'm not here to BS you. I get it. I get it. I'm the voice of, the anti-Disney sequel trilogy and all that. I still can't. I'm not going to bullshit you and lie to you. So even then, I was very frustrated we didn't get that because literally everybody that went to the theater wanted that. Everybody. We all wanted that reunion, and we didn't get it. And so I trusted the creative process. I was like, okay, there's going to be a reason why that didn't happen. Well, that was my mistake. And so this is going to feel like them putting the toothpaste back into the tube is what it's going to feel like. It's not going to feel right. It's not going to feel natural. And it's going to feel really forced and really cringy with everything that's going on. The fact that Carrie Fisher's no longer with us, I don't like this idea at all. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think about this. I'm just not a fan. Not a fan at all. I feel like this might happen, though. I feel like this might happen in some capacity, whether that's going to be a flashback or if they're going to try and do CG, which the thought of that just is so cringe to me. So cringe. You could have done this. You could have done this in The Force Awakens. You had all three of them together, but you were too focused on doing bullshit with these new characters and trying to push the old school characters to the background. You had your opportunity, and you pissed it away. You guys have a good day. We'll talk to you later.